This gentleman came and he asked me to hand over to him. I said no.
You are the man who has been arrested the most.
That was my first time to be arrested in Obote 1. These people even came with a tank, wanted to bomb my place. Now you are under arrest.
That was the second time when you got arrested.
Yes, these people were buying time, take me to Namamv and kill me. When I was in France, that's when I had the news that he had been killed in a firing squad. What you hear, you forget. What you see, you remember. And what you do, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to yet another episode of Muka podcast. My name is Joseph Rombanyoro, your host for this particular episode. Let me take this a golden opportunity to invite each one of you to join this community of Muka podcast and hear more interviews that will help you to become happier, healthier, and more healed. All I want you to do is to hit on that subscribe button. I know it's quite incredible also to leave your comment there on how you feel about this podcast. Thank you so much, and I can't take you for granted. Our guest today is a man who has suffered a lot by being jailed in the regimes. Let me give him opportunity to introduce himself.
Thank you very much. My name is Tom Mboijana, another name called Rosa Mavale. I'm 76 years old. In fact, I was born in 1948 at Kawarole Hospital. We studied in Kawarole Primary, Kawarole Junior, then went to Nyakasura. From Nyakasura, we went to work at the library, Makerere University Library, for a short time. Then joined the Uganda hotels. Trained in France and Denmark. Even managed some of the biggest hotels in Uganda. Bonaire Mansion, Pakuva Grand Lodge, and Silver Springs. No, those who managed them. Now I'm, I think, more or less retired, but I have my own place here.
How has been the experience in hotel management?
Oh, it has been very interesting. I've hosted almost all the presidents of this country, exception of Kabaka Mutesa. The rest I've hosted. Our industry, this was a great experience.
What happened in 1979 when you were a general manager at the Nail Mansions and the Minister of Tourism wanted to take off your job?
Yeah, this happened when he was general manager of Nail Mansion that time. And you see, he wanted somebody from his own place to come and manage the place. This was a gentleman who was managing Sheraton, the Sheraton Hotel. So, and he forgot that that hotel, the Nairo Mansion, was under a president's office, not under the Ministry of Tourism. This was during Benaisa's time. And this gentleman came and he asked me to hand over to him. I said, no, your letter is coming from the Ministry of Tourism, and this hotel is under president's office. So there was no way I can hand over to you. So I rang the PS president's office and told him, and he said, this fellow is joking. And he told Benaisa. In fact, whenever he used to come for lunch, I used to welcome him at the entrance of the hotel, move with him in his suite. And when he reached there, the Minister of Internal Affairs told him that I had been transferred from Nail Mansion, and they brought another general manager. Benaisa said, no, Tom Mboijana is not leaving this place. You tell the Minister of Tourism to take back his manager. That's what happened in 1979.
That's quite interesting. In the stories we've had before, you are the man who has been arrested the most. in all the governments that he appeared in this country,
Yes.
there was a part for you to be taken to court, or not only to court, but being arrested. You can take us through what transpired that.
Obote 1 in 1969 moved to the left, the communism.
You remind me, moved to the left.
Moved to the left.
Actually,
I was opposing capitalism.
What happened when you say move to the left?
Moved to the left, they say communism, sort of. So, but I was opposed to capitalism. So, but I used to stay with my elder brother who was a lawyer called Chris Mboijana. So we used to discuss some of these things at home and even during parties. But not knowing that there were general service fellows who were monitoring us. So what happened? It was the Indian independence celebration when I think Bote ordered Ken Adoko, who was the chief of General Service Unit, to come and search my brother's residence house, which was in Kololo Summit View, opposite the house of the governor then, Joseph Mubiri, Governor Bank of Uganda. Can you imagine? Those people came at 3 a.m. in the morning. They forced our gate man to open for them. Then they came, knocked on the house. We opened for them. They entered and started searching the house, even our libraries and this and that, until about 5 a.m. in the morning. And at 5 a.m. they said they were going to go to my brother's office. I was working there as a filing clerk that time. They said they were going to go to my brother's office to do search also. So for him, he said, now, let's go there now. Because otherwise in the morning you would think I have hidden some documents or whatever.
Yes.
So that was my first time to sit in a UP, a police vehicle. I thought they were criminals who were arrested, being taken in those vehicles. So we drove, he had his chambers on Ginger Road, and we opened the office. They started searching even clients' files. Now there was a safe where you keep money and some other documents. They said they wanted it opened also. So we had an Indian accountant who was staying near the present Crested Towers, an old man. So they put me in a police vehicle also, again to go and bring this old man to come and open the file. Can you imagine? We woke up that old man. We drove to the chambers. We opened the safe. They checked even documents and whatnot, but they didn't take any money. This was until up to morning.
So, what were they looking in the?
No, it is because
the search.
In the search, I think they were saying they thought we were making documents and opposing that move to the left.
Move to the left.
Yes. So that was all. I mean, they took us back, they released us. That was my first time to be arrested in Obote 1.
What happened when you were serving as assistant general manager, that is Silver Springs Hotel? 76. I had just come from Denmark. I was assistant manager, Silver Springs Hotel. And some of my neighbors here, in fact, they were staying in Bugolobi also. They fought with the state research fellow. And I threw him in a swimming pool. This was on a Saturday. There was a dance and this and that. So my friends told me, Tom, this thing has happened here. We can't leave you here. So they drove me up to Tinda. Apparently, these people even came with a tank, wanted to bomb my place. They thought since I used to talk politics, must have been the one who had arranged with those fellows to
to beat up the state research fellow and throw him in the swimming pool. So, but I was not there. So I came back on Sunday evening, slept in my room, and on Monday morning I was waking up just before 8 to go and report on duty.
How did you survive you being bombed by the tank?
They realized I was not in my room.
Oh, just...
Yeah.
So which means by that time, if you could be in your room...
Yeah, maybe they could have bombed that room. I was trying to go to the office. They said, no. We have checked in your office. The secretary is there.
Yes.
You've got now you're under arrest. We've got to take you to Nakasero.
That was the second time when you got arrested.
Yes. So we moved. They put me in a car behind, and in the middle of two armed fellows. It was a push of 504 up to Nakasero. I think you've heard about that dungeon in Nakasero.
Yeah.
So they took me there and started interrogating me. And even one fellow had ordered me to be beaten up because they found some people were even injured and whatnot. People were being mistreated in that dungeon. But they were stopped. They said, no, don't touch him. So I stayed there. They interrogated me up to about 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, they allowed me to go back to Silver Springs for lunch. Can you imagine? I got out of that Nakasero, and apparently there was one PS called Mr. Ortega who had come to collect his grandchild from nursery. So he gave me a lift. He was staying in Ugolobi. He gave me a lift, but he didn't know that he was coming from that dungeon. I went back to the hotel, had lunch. After lunch, I went back to the Nakasero. They kept me there interrogating me, all sorts of things, until about 7. 7 o'clock, they put me in those UVS vehicles and drove me to Nakivubo. It had become dark now.
Yeah.
I thought these people were buying time, take me to Namamva and kill me.
Oh.
Apparently, because they used to kill some people in Namamve. Apparently, when we reached Nakawa, they branched, took me back to the hotel. They told me, I don't have to leave that hotel. I can wake up and work until I'm cleared. So I spent 4 days working without leaving the premises. Until after 4 days, I was cleared. So they had nothing to do with what had happened. In that to their fellow who had been beaten up and thrown in a swimming pool.
Oh. Now, we don't have to forget the tragedy of 1973 when your cousin brother, that is Kasoro, and his fellow Maribo, when they were shot on firing squad.
Now,
what transpired?
Now, I'll tell you what. That was during Amin's time. And I happened to get a French scholarship to go and do a diploma in France. And that was when my cousin brother, Fares Kasoro, was shot with Malibu. And they were shot here at Nyakaseke. So they were still arrested. But funny part of it, they knew we were related with my cousin brother, but they never stopped me from going for my studies. In fact, the day I left, I passed by Ginger Road police station where my cousin brother, Faris Kasoro, was arrested, and left him some clothes and some money, then drove to the airport and went to study in France. When I was in France, that's when I had the news that he had been killed in a firing squad here at Nakasero by Amin's regime.
So what was the reason?
He had a private security company, but he was the assistant inspector of police before he retired to do his own business. Oh. So they connected him with the Malibo, who was with the Museveni's. Of course, he was in Uganda and Museveni was in Tanzania. So they were coming from the same village. So they thought he was also had some dealings with the guerrillas.
Okay. Could you share the experience during that time when you were France and Denmark?
Yes.
It was very interesting. I went to France.
Without knowing French, but within 3 months I had picked it up in the French because we used to go in a language lab. Now there is this narrative that what you hear, you forget, what you see, you remember, and what you do, you know. So in that language lab, we used to have audio videos. You see an image and hear the sound. So that's how we managed to pick the French very easily. So I stayed there for 1.5 years and got my diploma. So when I heard that my cousin brother had been shot in 1973, where he was still in France, I had a fear coming back when we finished our course.
Yes.
Some of my friends came back, but me, I was a bit scared. So I thought maybe I was also going to be arrested by means, whatever. But then my visa expired. I had to come briefly, flew back to Uganda. In fact, I came here. I never went back to the hotel. I came here, stayed for some days, and went to Kenya. That was 75. When I was in Kenya, I had that brother of mine who was a lawyer. He had an airline in Kenya and this and that, and he had some friends in Denmark. So I was connected to go and do industrial training in Denmark. So 75, 76,
Was that
I was Denmark.
was that still the time of exile for you?
Yes, and that's when I went to Denmark, and I did my industrial training in a hotel called Hotel Britannia in Denmark. I stayed there for 1.5 years.
The government of Idi Amin Bote was against you and your family members. What was that big percentage or the influence you had in your family that transpired the government to look for you in those times?
I think we're independent thinker. We used to discuss some of these things intellectually, analyze the issues. You say, for example, move to the left, capitalism and socialism, and some of these things. And in fact, some of these government fellows didn't like some people who were talking freely. And in fact, it would have been in their interest, because as human beings, we have differing interpretation of social, economic, even priorities, political priorities. So when it comes for things of common good, that's why we need a dialogue to reach a consensus for common good. And I think here, that's when I will bring in this question of 7 constants in life.
Yes.
7 constants in life. Whether you are a Japanese, Rangi, Atoli, or an Englishman, those ones will apply to you. For example, passion. It's passion, limitation, feelings, needs, consistencies, and free will. These are cross-cutting. Everybody has got passion, something fitting like. All of us have got a limitation. Even your body parts have got a limitation. Your right hand cannot work like the left. Even your left leg, even your left eye cannot work like the right eye. Even when it comes to the brain, thinking, for example, the left brain deals with critical thinking, and the right brain deals with creative thinking. So those limitations, that's how it comes in. When it comes to feelings, for example, if my hand is injured If the left one is injured, the funny part of it, the right hand cannot feel the pain. But if it is also injured, it feels the pain and the left one doesn't feel the pain. That's why I've also come with a concept that, as far as I'm concerned, we are two human beings. In my case, we are two human beings using the same body. One is right, one is left. For example, when my left hand is injured, the right hand doesn't feel the pain. When the right eye is injured, the left one doesn't feel the pain. You get me? It is just actually the same. Because if as my neighbor, if you are injured, you cannot feel the pain. And if I'm injured, you cannot feel the pain. But when it comes to needs, all these parts, all these left or right, we have the same needs. We all need oxygen, we all need blood. And it's the same thing like my neighbor. You all need these things so that at least if you can know that some of these things happen, if they can happen to you, they can happen to your neighbor. So there is no need of hurting each other. You remember there were draconian laws. In those days, an eye for an eye. You remove somebody's eye, they do not. But if you take this narrative which I'm bringing, we have differing interpretation of priorities. In the short of it, that's why you have the Constitution. There are laws governing contradictions. It is a pity for 30 years now, ever since the promulgation of that Constitution, it has never been interpreted. Even, for example, the question of power separation was meant for checks and balances. Legislature, judiciary, and executive. For example, legislature, they make the laws, the judiciary interprets the laws, and the executive implements those laws. But it's a pity. Even those people don't understand those laws. And that interpretation, because there is Article 4 of the Constitution, which says the Constitution should be translated in local languages and taught so that people can know their rights and obligations. This has never been done. For example, you have that doctrine of power separation is still there. But how come an MP becomes a minister and doesn't vacate his seat? So there is a fusion of legislative and executive. So, and you find a judge or commission for oath, whatever it is, who is supposed to translate, interpret that constitution, presiding over that illegality.
I really appreciate for the insightful and useful information you've shared with us. Some of us, we didn't know these things, but we've learned a lot from you. Really appreciate for your time coming and speak to us. And you can give us a remark on this.
In conclusion, when I talked of those constants in life, people should not fight each other, become enemies because of colors. Because we are all human beings. Those constants, 7 constants, are cross-cutting. These names of parties and what are just identities. So, in fact, I'll give you an example of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. He said, what is in a name? A rose by any name would smell as sweet. When a man puts a rose on his jacket, it is called a carnation. When you buy flowers, rose flowers, you give them to your girlfriend or your wife, it is called a bouquet. And when you put those roses into a wreath, to put on my coffin, it will be called a wreath. But it would still smell the same. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen who have listened to this program, I pray that don't hate each other because of party colors or this and that. Because, for example, when it comes to the roads are for everybody. Everybody is entitled to have good treatment in the hospitals, and diseases don't segregate people because of their colors and whatever it is. All of us are candidates for falling sick or whatever it is. So it shouldn't be divided over party colors or party manifestos. Thank you very much for hosting me.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for watching us this time as we reach at the end of this amazing episode. Yes, always said, we all have different opinions in our beliefs and everything we believe that is right. I have a deal for you. 98% of people who watch this podcast have not subscribed to this channel. Only 30% have subscribed. I'm requesting you only to subscribe on this channel. We promise you that we always bring people who make this show better and better every day. Thank you so much. I've been your host, Joseph from Banyoro, for God and my country.